You know what's crazy? You don't have to be silenced to be shut down anymore. No one's knocking on your door telling you to stop. No one's sending cease and desist letters. You don't even get the courtesy of being told you're breaking the rules. What happens now is quieter, smarter, colder. You just stop showing up. Your reach dies, your views vanish. And you're left wondering if it was something you said, or if you just don't matter anymore. That's how the game works now. And it's not even people making these decisions. It's AI. See, the algorithm doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't know what context is. It doesn't feel your intent. It doesn't understand nuance. It's a machine scanning for patterns, signals, probabilities. It doesn't ask asterisk, is this creator making a valid point? Asterisk, it asks asterisk, does this video look like other content that gets flagged, demonetized, or underperforms with advertisers? Asterisk, and if the answer is yes, you're not punished. You're filtered, hidden, pushed to the edges where no one looks. And that's where the psychological toll begins, because it's asterisk, invisible asterisk. You don't know if you're doing something wrong. You just stop getting seen. You pour your heart into a message, something you believe can help people, and the AI decides you're not safe. For the feed, no notification, no explanation. You just disappear from the algorithm's radar. Now imagine that happening over and over again. You put your soul into what you create. You speak from experience. You speak truth. You speak with purpose. And silence is what you get in return. Not because you're irrelevant, but because your truth didn't align with the machine's metrics. This is the new kind of censorship. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it doesn't attack, it fades you out, and the worst part is, you start doubting yourself. You think maybe you should soften your message, maybe talk less about certain topics, maybe use the safe language. And little by little, without ever being told to shut up, you silence yourself. It's brilliant, really. Psychological suppression without a single visible hand on the trigger. And don't get it twisted, this isn't just about AI doing its job. This is about what it's been trained to do. AI reflects the values of its creators. If it favors certain narratives, certain tones, certain formats, it's because the people behind the curtain decided those are what should be elevated, not because they're true, not because they're helpful, but because they're profitable, palatable, and predictable. So here we are, content creators, educators, thinkers, being filtered not by how powerful or honest our message is, but by how well it performs against a machine's cold, programmed expectations. It's not free speech being taken away. It's freedom of asterisk visibility asterisk, and in a digital world, that's everything. Let me say that again. Asterisk asterisk, in a world where being seen is currency, invisibility is the new form of censorship. Asterisk asterisk, so if you feel like you're being shadow banned, buried, or just ignored, it might not be in your head, it might be the algorithm, it might be AI doing exactly what it was built to do, protect the status quo and silence disruption before it even makes a sound. But don't confuse silence with defeat, because once you see the system for what it is, you're no longer playing blind. You can choose to stand taller, speak louder, and build outside the algorithm. That's where the real power lies, not in bending to the machine, but in rising above it. Asterisk asterisk, don't beg for the algorithm's favor. Build something it can't ignore. Asterisk asterisk, let's clear something up real quick. YouTube isn't broken. It's not malfunctioning. It's not confused. What's happening to creators, to voices being throttled, isn't some random glitch in the system. No, the system is working exactly as it was designed to, and that's the part that stings the most. It's not an accident. It's intentional. YouTube isn't failing creators, it's outgrown them. See, we used to believe YouTube was this open platform. A place where if you had a voice, a camera, and a message, you could reach people. It didn't matter where you came from, how much money you had, or what you believed. As long as your content had value, the playing field was level. But that was before the suits stepped in, before the shareholders, before the corporate partnerships. Before YouTube stopped being a digital stage and became a global product, now YouTube is playing a different game. And if you're still operating like it's 2015, thinking this is a meritocracy, you're gonna lose, because YouTube doesn't reward creativity anymore. It rewards compatibility. Compatibility with advertisers, with mainstream narratives, with sanitized entertainment, the kind that doesn't ruffle feathers, doesn't provoke thought, doesn't challenge systems. And that's where the algorithm comes in. It's not just sorting content, it's sorting *U* into safe, marketable, advertiser-friendly categories. And if you don't fit, you don't get promoted. Simple. Let's be honest, truth is messy, it's uncomfortable. It forces people to think, to feel, to confront things they might not want to face. But YouTube doesn't want truth. It wants retention, engagement, smooth content that keeps viewers watching, clicking, consuming, not questioning, not waking up, not disrupting. That's why you'll see entire channels grow overnight talking about fluff, gossip, shallow trends. But the ones that dig deeper, the ones that try to wake people up, they hit a ceiling, or worse, they vanish, because in this new ecosystem, depth is a liability, critical thinking. That's a risk, and risk is something YouTube's AI is programmed to eliminate. Think about that. A platform that used to champion voices from the fringe, voices that didn't have a place in mainstream media, is now acting like the very thing it was supposed to disrupt. It's gone corporate fully, and when platforms go corporate, they stop caring about people. They care about policies, about liability, about predictability. And most of all, they care about profit. So when you feel like your channel is being choked, when your videos don't reach like they used to, when you're being demonetized for violating community guidelines that feel vague and shifting like sand, it's not because YouTube's broken, it's because it's optimized for control, for safety, for comfort, not for you. But here's what they forgot. People didn't fall in love with YouTube because it was safe. They fell in love because it was real, because it gave voice to the misfits, the thinkers, the artists, the outliers. That energy, that authenticity, is what built this platform from the ground up. And now that same energy is being locked out of the building. But we're not victims here, we're pioneers. Because once you understand that the platform is doing exactly what it's designed to do you stop wasting time complaining and start finding new ways to create impact. Maybe it means building your own platform. Maybe it means focusing on real communities, not just algorithms. Maybe it means saying what needs to be said even louder knowing that if the system's trying to silence it, it probably matters. So don't take the algorithm's silence as a verdict on your value. Take it as confirmation that your voice doesn't fit their formula. And that's exactly why it's needed now more than ever. You know what they used to say. Content is king. That was the mantra. As long as you made something meaningful, something powerful, something real, people would find it. The message would cut through, that was the promise, but here's the truth now. Content isn't king anymore, conformity is. Let that sit with you. We live in a time where creativity is being channeled through a filter of uniformity, where original thought is quietly discouraged in favor of content that fits the algorithm's expectations. And I'm not talking about the audience here. I'm talking about the machine, because the machine doesn't reward depth, complexity, or raw emotion. It rewards repetition, predictability, familiar beats, the same formula wrapped in a different thumbnail. The sad part is, most creators don't even realize it's happening. They start tweaking little things, changing titles, softening their language, avoiding certain words. Not because it's what they want to say, but because they know that if they don't, the algorithm won't show their video. So they adapt, and with every adaptation, they move 1 inch further from their true voice, 1 inch closer to becoming just another echo in the feed. That's how conformity creeps in, quietly, subtly, almost like a survival instinct. You're not told to conform. You're nudged into it. It starts as strategy, but it ends in silence, because now, it's not about how powerful your message is. It's about how well you blend in. If your tone is too raw, if your video thumbnail doesn't follow the current trend, if your content challenges the wrong idea at the wrong time, you get skipped. Not by people, by the system, by AI. And you begin to see what's really being rewarded on this platform. Not truth, not courage, not innovation, but sameness. It's crazy people think censorship is loud, obvious. They picture government downs and protests. But in this new era, censorship is smooth, it's polite. It just makes sure you don't go viral. It makes sure you stay at the bottom of the feed. It whispers to you that maybe next time you should just stick to what works. So we end up with a culture of creators who are all different in theory, but almost identical in execution. Same delivery, same pacing, same safe topics, and when someone does show up with something disruptive, something that actually has the power to shake people up, the machine doesn't know what to do with it, so it buries it. YouTube has become a place where risk is punished and predictability is king. And look, I get it. If you're just trying to grow, if you're trying to make a living doing this, the temptation is real. It's easy to say, just give them what they want. But here's the problem with that. Eventually, you stop creating. You start conforming. And when that happens, your voice isn't yours anymore. It's the algorithm's voice coming through your face. Now, I'm not saying don't be smart. I'm saying don't lose yourself. Because once your message is shaped entirely by what's most clickable, you're not a messenger anymore. You're a performer. And that's the trap. That's the moment content stops being art and becomes product. Empty calories, quick hits, nothing that sticks to the soul. But we need soul, especially now. We need voices that challenge, that provoke, that stand out not because they're optimized, but because they're authentic. Real always recognizes real. And when you speak from that place, even if the algorithm doesn't reward it, the people who matter will feel it. They'll find it, they'll follow it. So don't trade your uniqueness for approval. Don't water yourself down to become more digestible. Because the world doesn't need another clone. It needs the real you, unfiltered, uncomfortable, unapologetic. Here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. I doesn't understand you. It doesn't understand your intentions, your context, or your truth. It doesn't know if you're being ironic, emotional, satirical, spiritual, or sincere. It's not a listener. It's a scanner. It's not thinking. It's reacting. And that right there is the danger nobody's talking about. See, when a human listens to you speak, they hear the tone, the pauses, the passion. They connect dots. They get the backstory, the nuance, the cultural weight behind your words. They know the difference between a quote that's meant to teach and a rant that's meant to tear down. But AI doesn't have that depth. It's just reading patterns. It sees a word it doesn't like, a phrase it's been taught to flag, a topic that's been statistically linked to controversy, and boom, your content is restricted. Not because you violated anything objectively wrong, but because you resembled something that the system once punished. Think about that. You're being judged not for your meaning, but for your resemblance. It's like walking into a courtroom where the judge doesn't speak your language, doesn't know your story, and still gives you a sentence based on a facial expression. That's what creators are dealing with now. We're being put on trial by machines that were never built to understand human complexity. And they never will, because context isn't code. It's consciousness. And here's where it gets even deeper. Because I doesn't understand context, it also can't measure integrity. It doesn't know whether you're standing up for something or spreading misinformation. It doesn't know if you're speaking a hard truth that could actually save lives, challenge systems, or heal someone out there in silence. All it knows is, this phrase was associated with low advertiser satisfaction, or this sentiment has caused outrage in the past. That's how decisions are made now. Not through wisdom, through pattern recognition. Now ask yourself, what kind of culture does that create? When machines decide what's safe to say, what's profitable to push, and what deserves to be hidden from the public eye, it creates a culture where depth is risky, where honesty is filtered, where the algorithm becomes the editor of your soul. And most people, again, won't even realize it because there's no red stamp, no message saying you've been censored, just fewer impressions. Lower click-through, slower growth, it's quiet, but it's deadly, because eventually you start to question yourself. You start pulling back, not because you've changed, but because the system trained you to. Now you're choosing silence not out of wisdom, but out of fear. That's how it wins. That's how AI doesn't just suppress your content, it reshapes your voice and let me tell you something, that's a loss far greater than demonetization. Because your voice has been molded by fear, once you've started self-editing in the name of survival, it becomes harder and harder to remember what your original voice even sounded like. You lose touch with your own message. And if your message doesn't live in you anymore, it won't live in anyone else either. So what do? We push back with clarity, with courage, with consciousness. We remember that we are not machines and we don't create for machines. We speak not to fit into the system, but to outgrow it, to create something that reaches deeper than an algorithm ever could. Because when it's all said and done, people may forget your thumbnails, your titles, your metrics, but they will never forget how your truth made them feel. So don't let a machine rewrite your message. Speak with fire, speak with clarity, and let the truth echo beyond the reach of the algorithm. Let's talk about something that cuts deeper than demonetization or low views. Let's talk about the part of all this that messes with your mind, because what happens when the algorithm doesn't just suppress your content, but starts to get inside your head. That's where the real damage is done. You see, when your work is deleted or directly censored, you at least know where you stand. You've been blocked, removed, confronted. But when your content is silently suppressed when your videos just stop getting views, when you go from thousands of impressions to a trickle, and no one tells you why, that kind of invisibility hits different because now the enemy isn't clear, it's invisible, it's not a policy, it's a feeling, a question, a whisper that keeps playing in the back of your mind, did I do something wrong, that's where self-doubt creeps in. Quiet, subtle, toxic, and most creators will never admit it publicly, but I'll say it. When you start speaking into the void and the void doesn't echo back, you begin to question your own voice. You start scanning every sentence, overthinking every phrase, not out of growth, but out of fear. Fear of triggering the wrong keyword, fear of offending the wrong algorithm, fear of being silenced again, and eventually you silence yourself. This is what I call invisible censorship. It's not imposed, it's internalized. The machine doesn't have to shut you down, you'll do it yourself. Not out of weakness, but because it becomes exhausting trying to decode a system that never speaks to you, only speaks around you. And here's the kicker, that kind of mental wear and tear. It's by design, not because I is evil, but because it's indifferent. It doesn't care if you burn out. It doesn't care if the silence drives you into depression. It doesn't care about the emotional weight of being unheard. That's the psychological danger of artificial systems. They're not malicious. They're mechanical. And when something asterisk mechanical asterisk controls your asterisk emotional asterisk world, that disconnect can break you. And we wonder why so many creators feel anxious, discouraged, even lost. It's not just about algorithms and platforms, it's about identity. Because when your platform becomes your voice and your voice is filtered out, it starts to feel like asterisk, your asterisk being erased. Not just your content, asterisk you. Asterisk, but I want you to hear this. You are not your metrics. You are not your reach. You are not the number of likes, views, or shares. That is data and not value. The algorithm might not see you, but that doesn't mean your voice has no meaning. The silence doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're not playing the game the machine was built to reward. And maybe that's a good thing, because this isn't just about social media anymore. It's about psychological survival in a system that punishes authenticity. It's about keeping your asterisk mind asterisk intact while you try to share your asterisk heart asterisk. And if you let the system dictate your worth, it will drain you until there's nothing left. That's why you've got to reclaim your voice, even when no one's clapping. You've got to speak, even when the algorithm ignores you. Not because it's easy, but because your voice asterisk wasn't made asterisk for machines. It was made to move people. It was made to build change, and sometimes silence from the system is proof that you're saying something asterisk real asterisk. So don't let the quiet convince you to disappear. Asterisk asterisk, because the moment you begin editing your truth for comfort, you start erasing the very thing that made you worth listening to in the first place. Asterisk asterisk, at some point, you have to stop asking for permission to be heard. You have to stop waiting for the algorithm to favor you, for the platform to protect you, for the system to finally get it right. Because let me tell you something real asterisk, they know what they're doing. Asterisk YouTube knows, the AI knows, the people pulling the levers behind the scenes. They know exactly what voices they're elevating and which ones they're pushing into the shadows. This isn't about glitches. It's about control, and if you're still hoping they'll one day make it fair, man, that's a dangerous kind of hope. That's the kind of hope that keeps people stuck, waiting, silencing themselves, shrinking their message, their passion, their truth, hoping that maybe next time the algorithm will treat them better. But hope without awareness is a trap, and the only way out is through asterisk asterisk awareness and resistance asterisk asterisk. You've got to stop playing defense with your own voice. This system, this AI-driven, profit-optimized, fear-filtering machine wasn't made for thinkers, rebels, artists, or truth-tellers. It was made for predictability. It was made for control. And that's why you can't just keep trying to win inside of it. At some point, you've got to start building outside of it. You've got to take back your power, not by yelling at the gatekeepers, but by refusing to need their gate in the first place. Build communities, not just followers, real communities. People who are here for your message, not just your content. People who care about what you stand for, not just what you post, because that's the only thing they can't control, human connection. That doesn't get shadow banned, that doesn't get demonetized, and it sure doesn't get filtered out by AI. Diversify where you speak, get off the platforms that limit you, start a newsletter, launch a podcast. Show up where you can be raw, unfiltered, uncensored, own your voice in spaces they can't mute. You want real freedom. You have to stop renting your influence from a platform that doesn't care whether you speak or disappear. And here's the deeper truth. This isn't just about YouTube. It's about every system that makes you feel like you have to earn your right to be heard. The media, the workplace, society at large. We've been conditioned to believe we're only valuable when someone else validates us. But asterisk truth doesn't need a platform to be real. Asterisk, you don't need 1 million views to have impact. Some of the most important revolutions started with one person refusing to be silent. You can be that person, but only if you stop playing by rules that were never meant to serve you in the first place. So yeah, maybe AI is shutting down your channel. Maybe YouTube is letting it happen. But that just means it's time to stop looking for approval and start building legacy something deeper, something that lives beyond the algorithm, because truth has a way of traveling. It always finds ears that are ready, hearts that are listening. You just have to keep speaking it clearly, fearlessly, relentlessly. Because when you stop needing the system's permission to be powerful, that's when you become unstoppable.